Hi, good evening. This is Sir Hassan Dosani. Welcome to tonight's Practice to Pass session for SBL March 2021 attempt. How are you guys doing tonight? Right, so if you guys can hear me clearly and see my screen clearly, can you please type yes in the question box or in the chat box? Very nice, very nice. Yes, I can see your comments loud and clear. So let's wait for maximum 2 more minutes because today is the first session and I'm sure those students who have not used this before, they might be struggling a bit. So let's give them a little bit of benefit of doubt and let's wait 2 more minutes and we will start exactly at 7:33 my local time. 2 more minutes, okay? Students are still joining. I can see the number count going up. All right, so let's start. Welcome to tonight's session. I'm really excited to have all of you and let's begin. So today is the first day of our SBL webinar and it's a total series of 5 days, okay? So our strategy is basically very simple. I want to spend less time on the topics and I want to spend more time solving questions, professional skills, exam techniques. So that will be our time spent, and the approach would be that we will do few topics, then we will do a practice question on those topics, and again few topics and the practice question on those topics, so that we are very clear before we move to the next topics. Okay, a word of caution here: is it a manual paper approach or CBE approach which I will take? So basically the approach for this webinar is a manual paper approach because in Pakistan the paper is gonna held manually, but don't worry, wherever I think it is necessary I will also guide the CBE aspects as well. So I will try to take it parallel so that all kind of students can benefit. The second thing is that my previous webinar was in December 2020. So this current webinar, it consists of the top most important topics, right? But then because of time limitation, we will be able to cover maybe 10 or 15 topics only in the next 5 days. But then in December 2020 webinar, there were some additional topics. So I have not repeated those topics. I have picked up the new topics here. So it is highly recommended, that after you've watched the March 21 webinar, you must watch the December 2020 webinar so that you are able to cover maximum topics. Okay, so the exam techniques, all those things you can focus in March 21, but as far as the topics are concerned, you can get more topics from December. All right, now very important, it's very important that you guys ask me questions, as much questions as you can, but please make sure that those are relevant questions. Okay, so the way you can ask question is you will need to type your question in the question box, and after every few slides I will stop and I will go through the question box and answer your questions. But please keep in mind that your question should be pertain to that slide under discussion, or your question should pertain to the topic under discussion. You should not ask any non-relevant question, because I'm not going to stop the topic in between and then try and answer some different kind of questions. It will break the tempo. So please restrict your questions to the topic under discussion. And in the end, towards the last 10 minutes every day, I will keep a Q&A session where you can ask any question you want, okay, but not during the session, right? And a little bit about myself. Professionally, I am a fellow chartered accountant from PricewaterhouseCoopers. I qualified way back in 1999. And after that, I did several certifications, CMA, CISA, CIA, something in HR, something in marketing. And I've been working, I'm not a full-time teacher, so I've been working in a corporate environment for last 20 years in accounting and auditing professions. And right now, for the last 10 years, I'm working as CFO / director finance in a multinational company in insurance sector. I'm based in Dubai. So that's my professional exposure. I sit in a real board of directors, and so I can share real examples from my experience. As far as my teaching exposure is concerned, I've been teaching for last 2 decades, and I've taught over 5,000 plus students. I think teaching is my passion. And I teach both physically in Karachi, Pakistan, and online internationally. And I've been conducting the ACCA Prepared to Pass webinars for last 1 year. How can you reach me? If you would like to stay in touch with me, you can message me on this number. This is my personal WhatsApp number. And then I have created a WhatsApp group for SBL students. I will add you to the group, and on that, we as a community can interact, and you can ask questions and share your experience, right? So please note this number. After the webinar, just send me a WhatsApp on this number and I will add you to the group. Okay, now the pass rates. SBL pass rates is kind of a roller coaster. It was improving, then it went down, and then again it's improving and slightly down in December. But if you look at the last 2 attempts, the December attempt was 49% passing ratio, which by the way is very good, and 51% was the passing ratio in September, which is again very good. So these 2 attempts these two attempts, SBL had the highest passing ratio in all the professionals paper. Okay, so that's good news. I hope this trend continues and you guys are able to pass in March before the passing rate starts declining again. Okay, so you stand a good chance provided that you approach it in a smart manner. Okay. Now, before I move to this, I'll just quickly take a look on the question box and see whether there is anything. Okay. Miriam is asking, where is the December 2020 webinar available? It is available on YouTube, it is available on Vimeo, and if you join my WhatsApp group, it is available on my Google Drive as well. So those of you who are already in the WhatsApp group, no need to join again. It's the same group. I'm just adding more groups. Yes. All right. Good. Now, a lot of students think that SBL is very difficult. Okay. But I would like to correct them here. SBL is not difficult. It is different. It's not difficult. It is different. It is different from any ACCA paper you have given so far. And how do I say that? You see, so first of all, it is, one integrated case study, and the case study is like 10 to 12 pages long. So I'm pretty sure that in any of your ACCA paper to date, you have not done a case study of 10 pages, right? So this one is a 10-page to 12-page long case study. It's got an introduction, there's a list of requirements, and then there are 6 exhibits. The second thing is, it is the longest paper of ACCA. It is 4 hours. Maximum paper you have given is 3 hours or 3 hours 15 minutes, right? So this one is 4 hours. And what does it mean? It means that you will be physically tired, dead tired, and you will be mentally very exhausted towards the end of the last hour, right? So we will need to build up the stamina, the physical stamina. People who are writing, they need to write for 4 hours, and the mental stamina to be alert during the entire 4 hours. So that's where the challenge is. And then there is 20 marks for professional skills. Wow. So it's 100 marks paper, out of which 20 marks is professional skills. Now that's really crazy, right? Because we can say 20% of your paper is professional skills, and professional skills is kind of liquid, it is fluid, it is intangible, it is a soft skill which you need to demonstrate. So 20 marks is a lot. So far, how much professional marks you have seen? Maybe 4 marks maximum. This one carries 20 marks. But the good news is it is very structured. The examiner has clearly defined professional skills and how you can score maximum on professional skills, right? And I will teach all of those techniques to you. And then another good news is there is less emphasis on models, which is good news. So you don't need to spend time on stupid models. If you don't know the model, that's perfectly fine, as long as your answer is logical and it covers all the important aspects. Without using the model, you will get equally good marks. So it is kind of good point. It's a good thing in SBL. And then there are various formats required. They want you to make a report, they can ask you to make a briefing notes, memos, presentation slides, press release, emails, letters, all those things. So don't worry, I will take you through all these formats. It's pretty simple. Right, so all these things, they make SBL not difficult but different. Okay, so how many of you have seen the SBL paper? So let me quickly just show you a real SBL paper. Aha, very nice. So you see, this is a real SBL paper, December 2018. If you go down the first page, it will kind of give you an introduction about this. It's kind of this one is introduction. It tells you the background of the company, and then it will give you your role. You are a senior business analyst, so it gives you what your role is, and then it tells you about the 6 exhibits. Okay, this is a very standard format: a brief introduction or background, followed by your role, followed by a list of exhibits. And then if you go down, you will see the requirements. Okay, so there's question number 1A and 1B, and followed by question 2A and 2B, followed by question 3A and 3B, and that's it. So that actually there is no fixed number of questions. It could be 5, 4, 3, 7, depending on the examiner, right? So in this particular case study, there are 3 questions. Okay, and now there will be exhibit. You see the exhibit 1, it will be a detailed exhibit. This one is how many pages? It's a 2-page exhibit, you see. And then there's an exhibit 2. Exhibit 2 is, again, it looks like a 2-page exhibit, and followed by exhibit 3 and so forth. So this is, already it's 11 pages, and exhibit 5 is 12 page, exhibit 6 is 13 pages. Oh my God. So it's a 14-page paper. This is a standard flow. There's an introduction, then there will be a list of exhibits, then requirements, and then the actual exhibits will flow in. So you need to read a lot. So I will teach you all these techniques. Okay. So as I said, SBL is very different. So a different paper needs a different approach. Do you agree? So if it's a different paper, then whatever techniques you have learned or you have applied in any other ACCA subjects may not necessarily work in this paper. So here, why the majority students struggle? Because they try to apply the techniques of other papers on this particular paper, and it will not work. You know why? Because this paper is very different. So you need to adopt some new techniques, which I will teach you. So please be prepared to unlearn the previous techniques and adopt the new techniques only for this paper. Please do not apply the techniques of this paper on any other paper. It may not work there. So when I say think differently, so in other papers, you used to think like a student, and you think that you are giving your answers to the examiner. Okay, but in this paper you need to think like a CFO. Okay, and you are not giving your answers to the examiner, you are giving your answers to the board of directors. So if you have been asked to write a report, so keep in mind that that report will be read by the board of directors, not by the examiner. And automatically, with this mindset that you are a CFO and whatever analysis you are doing will be read by the board, if you adopt this mindset, you will feel that your confidence will boost up and suddenly complicated things will start becoming easy. So you need to change your mindset for SBL. Forget that you are a student. Forget that there is an examiner out there. Think like a CFO, and inshallah you will be a CFO in few years time, right? And think that your views are being asked by the board of directors. Now, can I share some secret with you? So these board of directors, these are old guys, okay? They are dumb, they are stupid, they are old. They are not as fast or as intelligent as you are. So when you are explaining to them, when you are giving your analysis to them, you treat them like they are a 5-year-old child. So you explain to them in very simple language. You explain to them very simple things. Because mind you, they are not finance guys. The board is not of finance people. You are the finance guy, but the rest of the board is non-financial people. So if you think that the board is a 5-year-old child and I need to educate them, I need to take them slowly and explain to them in very simple layman, automatically your answer will simplify. So it's very, very important, boys and girls, that you adopt this mindset when you are tackling SBL. Interesting, eh? So do you want to be a CFO in future or even now? You think? Okay, very nice. Very good. So let me see if there is any questions before I move to the next slide. Yes, inshallah, very good. Yes, very nice. Okay, now let's understand why students they fail SBL. Okay, and don't ask me, let's ask the examiner. Let's ask the examiner why he fails all innocent students like you. So if you read examiner's report, every attempt he says, he repeats the same things. Okay, so the first and foremost reason is he feels that the answers are not linked with the exhibits. He feels that students, they talk about general stuff, they give definitions, and their answers are not in accordance with the case study. So obviously, if you are writing to the board of directors, so your thoughts and your analysis should belong to that company, right? You can't be general. So that's the first mistake students do. The second mistake which they do is, as per the examiner, insufficient number of points. So if it's a 20 marks question and you just write a 1-pager, it's not enough. So you need to decide the number of points. If your number of points are insufficient, obviously you will never going to pass the paper, right? And then the last thing he feels is that's poor time management. And poor time management means that either you were not able to complete the paper, which means that you missed out the last question worth 10 marks, 15 marks, 20 marks, or poor time management also means that although you completed the paper, but the quality of the answer of the last question was really bad. You just, you had 10 minutes and you just scribbled whatever garbage which came in your mind. So again, that shows that there was poor time management even though you completed the paper. These three are the most top 3 reasons why students fail SBL. and I will focus on techniques for these three things, how you can fix these things. Okay, and in tonight's webinar I will do the first one, how we can link our answers with the exhibits. Okay, but then look at these comments. Look at these comments. Again, these are comments from the examiner. And I swear, I cannot believe it. Now, the examiner is saying that students not answering complete requirements. Students not paying attention to the formats. Students are giving long paragraphs with multiple points squeezed in that paragraph. Students using models unnecessarily, and they are giving recommendations without justifications. Now, if you are one of those students, if you are doing these mistakes, like maybe they ask you for a report and you don't give a report, or if they ask you for certain requirement and you don't cover all the requirement in your answer, I'm very glad that the examiner doesn't pass you guys. Because if you can't even do these things, then you are not fit to be a CFO. You are not fit to sit in the board of directors. If these basic things you are not able to control, right? So please guys, I will not teach you this. You need to be vigilant enough and mature enough not to make these mistakes. Okay, and I'm sure when you read this you will also laugh that what kind of mistakes are these, but this is the truth. Okay, right. So now how do you study? So you've got like how many days left now? I think 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks is left, right? 3 weeks, yes. 22 days, yes, very good. So now a lot of students, they ask me, how do we prepare for SBL? So the first thing first, you need to realize that now the time left is very small time, very little time is left. So please, you need to adopt a smart approach, not a hard working approach. We will not try to cover, or you should not try to cover each and everything because of only 3 weeks left. If you want to cover each and everything, then you should have started like 3 months back. But now if you're starting now, so then forget the idea of covering everything. You need to be selective and choosy and smart and take a little bit of risk. Okay, so the first and foremost, what do you need to do? Where is it? Just a second, guys. I missed my. Yeah. The first thing is you watch the March 2021 webinar, which is currently going on. And then you also watch the December 2020 webinar for additional topics. Now you can watch that in the daytime, in the afternoon, or you can watch that after our March webinar is over. But keeping in mind that you just have 3 weeks, I would suggest that in the morning, in the daytime, afternoon, you watch the December 2020 webinar and attend the March webinar live. So in 1 week time, you will be able to cover both these webinars. It's absolutely important that you must watch both these webinars, okay, because your number of topics covered will definitely double up. And then just revise top 15 topics and top 10 models. Again, as I said, you will not be able to cover everything under the syllabus. So which 15 topics and which 10 models, I will give you a list. I will give you a list of top 15 topics and top 10 models. So just restrict your theoretical knowledge to these things. And then you can practice 5 to 7 case studies from paper P1 and P3 if you have time. Okay, if you don't have time, if you have spent time here and you don't have time for this, you just skip this and directly jump to this one. Now you need to practice at minimum three or ideally 5 SBL questions in writing with time management. In writing, proper 4-hour paper you will solve in writing under strict exam conditions. It's mandatory. Why? Because it's a 4-hour paper. You need to build up your stamina. And the only way you can build up the stamina is when you do the actual 4-hour paper. Okay, you will need to simulate or create a real exam environment, and you have to do in writing, because then you can apply all the various techniques which I will teach you. Okay, after you've practiced the SBL questions, you need to do two mocks under strict exam conditions and have it checked. A lot of students, they do solve questions at home, but they never got it checked from a SBL tutor. Unless you get your mocks checked, you will never know whether your answer was good enough to pass or not. Students, they normally compare their answer with examiner's answers, but examiner answers are really not exam condition answers. They are illustrative answers. And so it's very, very important that you do two mocks and have it checked by a qualified SBL tutor. Okay, and this one is optional, and I don't want to do any kind of marketing here, but I offer mock based practice sessions. It will start right after the webinar around 13th of Feb, in which I normally solve 3 questions and I conduct 1 or 2 mocks, and then I have it checked. But this session is unfortunately a paid session by my college. So if you want to get details of this, I will share the details of this mock practice session on the WhatsApp groups. Okay, so please take a picture of this study plan and stick to it. Do not expand your scope beyond this, otherwise you will panic and you will not be able to cover and your confidence will shatter. Do I have any questions on the study approach? Hussein is saying, what if we are doing CBE? We still need to do the questions in writing? Of course not. Hussein, I don't expect this kind of question from a CFO like you. If you are doing a CBE paper, tell me, how would you practice it? Yeah, very good. So you will actually type the 4 hours, maybe on MS Word or on the actual software. Okay, right. The idea is that you sit for 4 hours and do the entire paper and have it checked. Okay. So all the details of my mock session will be posted on the WhatsApp group. So please WhatsApp me on my number. I will share the number again at the end of the session tonight, and I will add you to the group. Now this one is very important. Please digest it. Stay away from book and revision kits. And there are many reasons, but the top reason is that only 3 weeks is left and you will never be able to read the book or the kits. And secondly, I personally feel that the questions in the revision kits are not good, and more importantly, the suggested answers are even better than the questions. So it will shatter your confidence. I would then what do we do if we don't read the book? and we don't read the kits, then what do? As I said, just focus on top 15 topics and top 10 models. I have made my simplified notes. You can have those. It is in my Google Drive. If you join the WhatsApp group, you can have access to it. And instead of doing practice from the kids, you can do practice from P1 and P3 and SBL case studies. Okay. So I don't want to see this question ever again. Sir, which book or which kit, please? Okay. Zero tolerance on this. Now, this is the list of important topics. Again, you can take a screenshot and I will share this in the last class as well. So these are the 10 models and these are the 15 topics plus professional marks and exam techniques. Okay, these are the topics which you should focus on and forget the rest. This is the best. Okay. Today's plan, but just let me quickly check out any questions before we start with tonight's action. Sir, can we rely on the suggested answers given for P1 and P3 on ACCA website? Yes, if your answer matches like 30-40% with the suggested answer, you are good enough. How do we practice individual topic? Forget about it, Abdullah. You don't have time to practice individual topics anymore. Which screen, Deepika? How do we ask questions from tutor? You just type your questions here. Send me link of WhatsApp. No, I will not send you the link of WhatsApp. You WhatsApp me and I will add you. Yes, Maria. Yes, you can. What if I have gone through the September webinars? Do I still need to go through December? Yes, please. I forget about September now. You have to do December and March. Okay. Forget about September now. Okay. So I'll just share the screen of the list of important topics so that those of you who have not taken a picture, please take it in 10 seconds before I move on. Right. Let's move on. Today's plan. Today, number one, we will talk about exam technique. So every day, I will first talk about one exam technique, and then we will, do some topics. So today we will talk about how to link your answer with the exhibits. Remember, this was the biggest reason why students fail. And then we will do these topics today. SFA and financial projections. I will teach you evaluation skills. I will show you a report format, and then we will do a proper question applying all these things on this question. Okay. So the first thing, how to link answer with the exhibit. Very, very important. And this is my own creation. Okay, it's copyright, it's patented, so do not share with anyone else. The first step is, what does it say? Make a list of requirements. So you see in SBL paper, I just showed you a specimen, a paper, right? And you saw that there were lots of requirements, and the requirements are scattered over 3 pages. So because the requirements are scattered over 3 pages, I would like to make a very small, simple list of requirements so that I can see all the requirements in one snapshot. Okay. How do we make a list? I will just show you right now. So for students who are doing manual paper, where will you make the list? You will make the list on the last page of your physical answer sheet. Okay, not on question paper. Although it is allowed to write on question paper, but I want you to make the list of requirements on your answer sheet, because then you can keep it parallel. You can keep your answer sheet along while you are reading the case. You have your list of questions in front of you. So on the last page of your physical answer sheet, you will make a small table and make a list of requirements. I will just show you how. CBE students, luckily your life is very easy. If you are giving CBE, you will just copy paste the requirements on your answer sheet. And do you know how to copy paste? Select the question, Control C, or press the icon copy, go to your answer sheet and Control V. That's it. And then you enter 4 or 5 times, and then the second requirement, enter 4 or 5 times, third requirement. So for you it's faster because you are just copy pasting all the requirements from the question paper to your online answer sheet. But for physical students, it will take around 2 minutes to make a physical list on the last page of your physical answer sheet. Got it? So I'll show you the question. The same paper which I showed you. I'll just make a small list so that you get an idea, especially the physical students, how to make a list. So this paper is December 2018. It's an actual paper, huh? And required. So what's the first requirement? The chief business, so I'm reading here. The chief business analyst has asked you to prepare briefing notes for the finance director for consideration at the next board meeting, which discusses the key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful in its home country of D-Land. That's the first requirement. What do the board wants from you? Identify what? The success factors, the factors which have enabled this company to be successful. Got it? So how do I make a list of this? Very simple. I will kind of write question number 1A. Supposing this is my answer sheet. It's my physical answer sheet, right? So you just give a heading, answer planning. Okay, so that on the last page, so that the examiner doesn't get confused. And now you will write question 1A. What does it want? Discusses the key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful. So can I say discuss success factors of Highlight? That's it. Success factors of Highlight. How much is the marks? How much is the marks? Can anybody tell me? So it is like 16. And then there is a professional skills marks for analysis skills. How much is it? 3. So how much is total marks? 16 plus 3, 19. So I will just mention here total marks. I will not bother about technical or professional. For me, this question carries 19 marks. Okay. Now, 1B, what does it want? Can anybody tell me 1B? Using the fact sheet referred to above or any other relevant information, prepare a short report for the finance director which evaluates the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel chain. Proposal to evaluate the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel. It's evaluate the proposal to acquire Comfy. How much marks? 16 or 16 plus 4, 19? No, 20. Very good. Now, what's question number 2? 2A, prepare a draft press release responding to the criticism assessing the social and environmental impact with a view to reassure its stakeholders of highlight intention, da 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 da. So what do you want? Respond to the criticism assessing the social and environmental impact. Criticism, social, environmental impact. Did you notice that I'm using a lot of abbreviations? Why am I using a lot of abbreviations? Because this is my own list. It's not for the examiner, so I need to save time. How much marks? 10 plus 3, right? No. Yeah, 10 plus 3, 13. One more and then we will end this. 2B. 2B, can anybody tell me the requirement for 2B? Which assesses the role and benefit of integrated reporting. How much marks? 12 plus 3, 15. So this is how you make a list for manual students. Okay. Now, what's the advantage of having a list? So in one, so you will have again 3A, 3B, and there is a, that's it, right? So now you exactly know what are the requirements in one snapshot, because in the actual paper, the requirements are spread over 2, 3, 4 pages. So I know that I need to look for success factors. I know this. I know that I need to evaluate the proposal for acquisition. I know that I need to look for social and environmental impacts. I know that I need to talk about the role and benefits of integrated reporting and so forth. So at one glance, this list, it will help you in linking your answers with the case. Got it? That's step number 1, that you make a list of requirements. Before I proceed, I'll just check for questions. Shifaz is asking, should we also write the time allocation near the marks? Very good question. I repeat, he's asking, should we also write the time allocation near the marks? Ideally, yes, but no. Why no? Because it will consume more time. Similarly, SOAP is asking, should we write the format? No, it will consume more time. Someone will ask me, should we write the professional skill, which skill is required? No, it will consume more time. Remember, that list is only for you. The more time you spend on that list, it is a sunk cost. Just a basic list of requirements. You should just know the topics. I will look at the format and the professional skills when I actually attempt that question. Very good. Ruth is saying, from my practice, it takes about 15 minutes to copy the question to answer section. No, Ruth, that's impossible. It will never take 15 minutes to copy paste. It will in fact be faster than when you actually write. So in my experience, maximum 3 minutes. Okay. And if you are spending 15 minutes, there is something wrong with the technique or maybe your software. You just click and copy paste. Click, copy, paste, click, copy, paste. Okay. Yes, Zubeda is asking how much time it will take to make a list. 5 minutes max. You should not spend more than 5 minutes. And it is worth spending this 5 minutes because it will save a lot of time when you are drafting your answer. And I will just show you how. Okay. Gina, no, I want you to use Q&A because I'm only looking at the Q&A box. Should we write exhibit number with question for referencing? No, Motasim, you can't because you have not read the exhibits as yet. Ashamol, I can see your comments. So you can ask questions here. Right. So once you've made the list, half your job is done. You know what questions are required, what you need to look for. So for in this question, I know that I need to look for success factors. I need to look for acquisition thing. I need to look for social and environmental footprints. I need to look for integrated reporting. So with practice, you would kind of know the top 3 or 4 things you need to look for while reading the story. So now with the second step is you read 1 or 2 paragraph and stop. You highlight the important sentences, facts and figures in your opinion, you highlight. And highlighters are allowed in SBL. Okay, so students who are doing a physical paper, you need to carry at least 2 highlighters so that you can highlight the important sentence. Do not underline, but I prefer highlighting. It would visually become easier for your eyes if you highlight because there are like 10-12 pages. And for CBE online students, there is a highlighting feature in your software which you can just select and highlight. Now, once you have highlighted, this comes in place, referencing. This is very, very important. Now, why have you highlighted that thing? You felt that that information or that sentence was important, or you felt that that sentence maybe you can use in certain question. So once you have highlighted, now comes the referencing. By referencing, I mean that you need to write some comments against that paragraph. If you have highlighted something, you either write the question number. By question number, I mean that where you can use that information. For example, if you have highlighted certain success factors, then you write either you write success factor or you write question number 1A, so that you know that this information I may use or I can use in this particular question. So making all these question numbers or comments is called referencing. So manual paper students, you can actually write comments on your question paper against the paragraphs. And here is the interesting bit. The CBE paper, if you find any interesting sentence, any important sentence or information, you just copy that sentence and paste it in your answer sheet underneath the respected question. Did you get that? So for CBE students, it's really so easy that when you are reading the case study and you highlighted something and you felt this point will go under success factor, you just copy that sentence, go to your answer sheet, go to question number 1A, and below that you just paste it. So as you read on and more points are identified, you just copy paste them under respected question numbers, and by the time you finish reading the case study, 80% of your answer, the skeleton of your answer, is ready. You have actually picked up the most important points, and now you just need to present it nicely, add a little bit of your comments, focus on professional marks, and then repeat the above steps. So do you understand how you link? The only way you can link your answer is that you actually repeat, copy paste facts and figures. That's how the examiner can see that you are linking your answer. There is no harm in copy pasting facts and figures, because facts and figures will never change, right? If you are mentioning there is high inflation, you just copy paste high inflation. There's nothing wrong in copy pasting, but of course you need to add your own comments on top of it, present it nicely. So please, do I have any questions on this slide? Because I will not proceed unless you guys are very clear on how to link your answers with the exhibits. Let me take a quick look on the questions. Yes, so yes, Mohammad Rikshan. Sir, can you please tell models and topic? Mohammad Ryan, please don't ask questions which are not pertaining to the slide under discussion. I had requested this in the start. All these questions I will ignore and ask. You need to ask them again in the last 15 minutes. Okay, so please. Should we change the language of the copy pasted lines, Pratik? Yes and no. Up to you. If your English is good, you can change the language, provided it doesn't take a lot of time. If your English is weak, then please don't waste more time on changing the language. Yes, presenter Marzina. Yes, I can see your comment. Again, Amin Khan, you're asking something which is not relevant to the slide under discussion. It's an exam technique, so please ask this later. Okay, so you guys are not able to see the questions from other students, but I can. So I can also repeat questions where I think it's an important question. Okay, right. So it's almost 1 hour. Okay. So now our topic is SFA framework. SFA stands for, can anybody tell me? Suitability, feasibility, acceptability, right? Why did I choose my first topic as SFA? Because this is the most important topic for SBL paper. This topic has been tested, most frequently as compared to any other topic. Every attempt or every alternate attempt, there's an SFA. So please, you need to have a very strong grip over this model, SFA framework. So the first thing is, when do we use SFA model? So we use SFA model when we plan to acquire another company, either in the same country or in another country, doesn't really matter. The key word here is acquire. acquisition or acquire. So whenever you read a question, whenever you read a requirement, and you come across this word that evaluate the proposal of acquisition, or we are thinking of acquiring, if you see this word, immediately you must know that it's a SFA question. So do you remember in this one? I remember seeing acquisition. Which question talks about acquisition here? 1B, right? Evaluate the proposal to acquire. So immediately I know it's a SFA question. Okay, because of this word, acquisition, acquire. So that's one scenario where definitely we will use SFA whenever we see the word acquisition. Now the second scenario is we can also use SFA when you are asked to evaluate a proposed strategy. Now that proposed strategy may not necessarily pertain to acquisition. It may be pertaining to expansion, launching a new product, opening a new branch. So these are not acquisition, but these are strategies, right? Opening a new branch, adding a new product, or discontinuing a product, or shutting down a factory. These are all proposed strategies or proposed plans. So you can also use SFA if you are asked to evaluate a proposed strategy, but you will not use SFA in your exam conditions. Okay, you will only use SFA in acquisition. If there is any other question in which it asks you to evaluate a proposal or a suggested strategy which does not involve acquisition, you just don't use SFA. You just talk about the pros and cons. Khalas. Okay, so to cut the long story short, when do we use SFA? Whenever we get a question on acquisition, whether in same country or international, doesn't matter. If it's a question on acquisition, you use SFA, otherwise you will avoid this model, and you just, as I said in the start, using a model is not mandatory as long as you cover all the relevant aspects in a logical manner. So we can still gain marks if we don't use SFA. So we will only use SFA for acquisition. Is this clear? Is this clear, please? I want your yes. So Claude is asking that if we are asked to evaluate a proposed strategy, and that proposed strategy is not to do with acquisition. Let's say the question says evaluate the proposal of opening another branch. That's not acquisition, right? It's opening another branch. And she's asking that if we use SFA, will we lose marks? No. Why would you lose marks? Again, you're asking like a student versus the examiner. So tell me, if you are the CFO and you're giving the board has asked you to analyze the proposal of adding one more branch, will they fire you if you don't use SFA? Are they interested in the model, or are they interested in logical, comprehensive analysis? You see, so even if you use SFA, you will not lose marks. But why am I saying not to use SFA? Because SFA is time consuming, and sometimes because of lack of information, you might get stuck when you use a model and your confidence will shatter. So only for acquisition you focus on SFA. For everything else, talk about the pros and cons and financials without referring to a model. Okay. Yes, Rohit. Very good. If you are the CFO, Rohit is saying, if I am the CFO, I will look at the pros and cons and our resources. Absolutely. Models, what they do is they sometimes they are supposed to make your life easy, and they're supposed to make sure that you cover everything. But if the model gets complicated, then stay away from it. Okay. Very nice. Right. So now we know when to use it. So suitability. Suitability focuses on external factors. External factors. And similarly, if you go down, feasibility talks about internal factors. Okay. And when I say external factors, I mean the country factors, the industry factors, customers and suppliers, and this and that. Everything which is external. Economy, political situation, technological situation, suppliers, competition, external. But when we talk about internal factors, this is us, our strengths and weaknesses, our human resources, employees, our management experience or expertise or skills, financial resources, our IT and systems, our brand and goodwill. So you understand the basic difference between suitability and feasibility. Suitability focuses on external factors, and feasibility focuses on its home country. So I need you to cover some points on home country, and all the information about home country external factors will be provided to you. Here, I normally focus on more on challenges or issues. Okay. So why do we think of acquiring another company, either in another country? Either we are facing some problems, my country is mature, or the economy is not good, that's why I'm diversifying into another country. So the first paragraph you need to just copy paste or produce information about home country, pros and cons, but focusing more on cons or the issues. The second paragraph you will focus on the target country. I mean, if it's a case of international acquisition, so you'll talk about target country, and you will talk about pros and cons. Whatever kind of information is available, you will just bring it here and put it here. If it's another city, if it is another city of the same country, then you talk about that city if the information is provided. Okay, I hope you are sensible enough. And then the third subheading would be the target company. Whom am I gonna acquire? Some information will be provided about that company. You just produce it here. Okay, so in this suitability, we have not talked about internal factors. We have not talked about our own strengths and weaknesses. We just focused on home country, which is external. We focused on target country, which is again external, and we focused on target company, which is the one we are planning to acquire. So as of now, they are external. So whatever information is available, you just bring it and present it here in a logical sequence. You don't have to create anything or give your comments here. You just, after that, you will move to feasibility. And as I said, feasibility talks about internal factors, our own capabilities, our own strengths and weaknesses, with regards to this proposed strategy. So the number one thing we need to talk about is human resource or expertise. We always start from human resource or our experience or expertise or competencies. Then we will talk about our financial resources. Then we will talk about our IT. We'll talk about our brand. So these are the four standard things which you should always talk about when you are supposed to do an internal analysis. What are the four things? You will look at human resource, financial resource, IT, brand. Come on, repeat with me. Human resource, financial resource, IT, brand. One last time. Human resource, financial resource, IT, brand. These are the four things, four pillars, internal pillars on which a company stands. So in human resource, what do we look? We look for this. Do we have acquisition experience from the past? Yes, no. Okay. Do we have experience of managing similar businesses? Yes, no. Do we have experience of working in an overseas country? Yes, no. These are certain basic questions. If I am thinking of acquiring McDonald's in Zimbabwe, do I have acquisition experience in the past, or this is my first acquisition? If I don't have experience of acquisition in the past, I will flag it to the board. I will tell the board, listen, Mr. Oldies, it's good that we are thinking of acquiring, but I'm afraid we don't have any prior experience of acquisition, and acquisition is complicated, by the way, so we will need to hire any consultant or outsource to Price Waterhouse or McKinsey or any firm specializing in acquisition. Then do we have any experience of managing McDonald's kind of business? Yes or no? And thirdly, do we have any experience of working outside our home country? Yes or no? So these are the three aspects which you need to talk about. Financial resources, do we have the funds to acquire? So we are talking about acquisition, but what if we don't have money in the pocket? We are just wasting everybody's time, right? So do we have the funds? How can we arrange the finances required to acquire a McDonald's in Zimbabwe? I will look at my existing gearing. I will see my cash reserves or retained earnings and all those things to see how will I raise money. So all these aspects are covered under financial resource. And then number three is IT and brand. So what do I have? A website? Do I have any IT which I can use once I acquire? Any brand which I can avail? So information will be provided. So just keep your eyes open for expertise, financial resources or gearing, IT, brand. These are the keywords. Do I have any questions so far? Sir, if we don't have experience in similar business, should I suggest that a management consultant be engaged? Yes. Or you can also suggest that we need to recruit people with the required expertise. Oh my God, most of you were not able to hear, huh? Okay, I hope it's fixed now. Okay, I'll just quickly repeat it, no problem. So in the first bit, we talk about our experience, expertise. Second bit, we need to talk about, do we have the funds to acquire another company? How are we going to raise the finance? You look at your retained earnings, cash reserves, you look at your gearing ratios. And lastly, you will see whether you have any technology or website or brand which you can use to your advantage once you set up the business there. Synergies, right? Okay. The last one, acceptability. This acceptability is largely focuses on the financial aspects of acquisition. Financial projection. Does it make financial sense to acquire? What's the payback? What's the NPV? What's the IRR? How does the balance sheet P&L of the target company looks like? All this is covered in acceptability. But the first thing we look at is, will our shareholders accept the proposed strategy? Okay, that's very important. Just a minute, guys. Sorry, guys. So the first thing is we need to see whether our shareholders will accept the proposed strategy. Okay, and why would shareholders accept or reject? What do shareholders want? Shareholders, they always want to maximize their wealth, their profitability. So if the proposed deal is lucrative, if it gives a positive NPV, most likely the shareholders will approve, right? So there are two possibilities. So if it's a listed company, so if you are a listed company, then shareholders will accept if there's a positive or a reasonable NPV. And sometimes the case says that you are a family owned or a private company managed by the owners. So in this case, in a family owned business or a private limited, the shareholders are the directors. The owners, they themselves manage the company. So obviously, if as a director you are thinking of something, naturally you will approve it as a shareholder because you are one and the same person, right? The second thing which you need to cover here is you need to talk about any cultural differences. This will apply if you are moving into another country. Maybe the culture is not different in a same country, but if you are moving into another country for acquisition, you need to just write one sentence saying that since ABC is another country, we need to consider any cultural differences. That's it. And then finally you come at the financial projections or analysis. So you will be given some kind of financial projections or some balance sheet or P&L of the target company, and then you will use your financial expertise. So whatever you have learned in other subjects, you will apply it here. Okay. So in summary, I want to see sorry guys, three paragraphs in suitability, one for home country, one for target country, one for target company. I want to see three broad subheadings for feasibility, one on human resource or experience or expertise, the second on financial resources, and the third one on IT and brand. And the third acceptability, I want to see again three subheadings. One is shareholder acceptability, the second one is cultural differences if another country is involved, and the third one is a financial analysis. Okay, now the $1,000,000 question: conclusion required or not? Should we give a conclusion? So it's very simple, and I'm highlighting in red. Okay, I'm highlighting in red. Can you read it? Avoid conclusion if the question does not specifically ask for conclusion. Please get this out from your system. Avoid conclusion. Even if you are making a report for exam purposes, avoid conclusion because you will lose extra time in writing conclusion. It's not easy to write conclusions, okay? Unless the question specifically says, evaluate the proposal and give your recommendation or including a conclusion, then of course you need to do it. But if the question is silent, take advantage and do not give any conclusion, okay? Zero tolerance. I don't want to hear this question again. Now, just like guys, 10 more minutes before I give a break, okay? If you feel SFA is getting complicated in the exam, so again, I think I've touched upon it. Doesn't matter if you feel it's getting complicated, then no worries. It's not compulsory to use SFA. You can also use a general approach. Make sure that you cover the following aspects of any proposal. You talk about, give a broad heading, external factors, and give small paragraphs talking about external factors, pros and cons. Then you give a broad heading, internal factors, pros and cons. You need to touch upon human resource, financial resource, IT, brand, and then your another heading would be financial analysis. So if you follow a logical approach without using a model as well, you are equally fine. Is that clear? Okay, the last thing is, we've got like 10 minutes almost before the break. Okay, so we are done with SFA. Okay, we're done with SFA. The second topic for tonight is financial projections. So in almost every SBL question, the examiner is given a financial projection. And you as a finance specialist should be well versed with financial projections. So you will never be asked to prepare a financial projection in SBL. You will always be given a financial projection and you will be asked to review it or comment on it. It's very simple, I've been a CFO for more than 10 years. You think I prepare financial projections anymore? No, right? It is my subordinates who prepare the financial projection. It is my team which prepares the financial projections, and I review it. Okay, I ask some difficult questions. I make sure that everything is, the financial projections can be relied upon. Once I am satisfied, I will then forward it to the board of directors. Exactly the same approach here, that in your SBL exam, you will be given a set of projections or a set of financials. And again, you think like a CFO. If your mindset is like a CFO, that one stupid ACCA student has given this to for your review, and you start finding gaps in it. So whenever you are given a financial projections, you need to look at 5 things. Okay, you need to always look at 5 things. It's a checklist. I have made a checklist for you. Okay, that whenever you see a projections, immediately bring in mind these 5 things. Number one is you need to make sure that the projections are based on discounted cash flow using a sensible discount rate. Always, you know better than me, for any long-term decision making, we always do long-term decision making based on NPVs and IRRs and discounted cash flows, right? We never use accounting rate of return or any other thing. So first, as a CFO, whenever you see a multi-year financial projections, year 0, year 1, year 2, make sure that it is discounted cash flow. Yes, if it is yes, then it's fine. Then you go to the second item of the checklist. If it's not based on discounted cash flow, you will write in your answer that this projection needs to be prepared is not based on discounted cash flows. It may not give the right picture, and this needs to be redone. Second item is you will calculate simple payback period. It will just to impress the examiner. I would like, as a CFO, I would like to know how many years our initial investment will be recovered. So if the payback is given in the projections, it's good. If it's not given, I would suggest that you quickly calculate the payback and mention in your answer. It will give an examiner, you might get an extra point on that. Okay, but the word is simple payback. Do not complicate your life. Non-discounted cash flows. Okay, just take the before discounting cash flow, calculate the payback roughly. You can say the payback is slightly over 4 years. The payback is just under 6 years. You don't have to be accurate to do this decimal places. Just a high level idea of what's the payback in number of years. The third thing is you need to review assumptions for any apparent stupidity. So you know that all financial projections, they are based on certain assumptions, and most of the time the assumptions are mentioned in your case study. You need to read the assumptions to make sure that the assumptions are in line with the case study. If there is something out of the place, then you need to question that assumption. For example, in one of the questions it was mentioned that we will be eligible for significant government grants, right? But in the projections, there was no government grants included in the projections. So I would obviously point it out that since we are eligible for government grants, why government grants has not been included in the cash flows. So you need to just make sure that the assumptions make some logical sense. Okay, the fourth one is tax implication. You need to say that if it is, you need to see whether the projection is post taken into consideration tax implications or not. Is it pre-tax or post-tax? If it is post-tax, then it's good. If it's not post-tax, then you need to mention on your answer sheet that the projections needs to be tax impact needs to be considered in the projections. That's it. And finally, you would always recommend a sensitivity analysis. You just write 2 lines saying that a sensitivity analysis should be performed. What is a sensitivity analysis? You do various scenarios. What if this happens? What if the cost goes up by 10%? So you do various scenarios to see all possible outcomes. So you just mention this word sensitivity analysis and you will definitely get 1 extra mark. So this 5-item checklist you need to know. Okay, so do I have any questions on SFA and financial projections before we start our question and before we go on a break? If we don't have experience in working overseas, what should be the suggestion? We just point it out to the board that we have no experience of working overseas, and that's it. Suggestion is not required. Okay, you are just there to evaluate. So it's up to the board to decide. But in a practical sense, I would always suggest that we need to hire some local firm or recruit some local person or a local CEO who knows the local market. But from an exam point of view, no need to give. Who asked you for suggestions? Okay, just identify the challenge or the bottleneck. That's Motasim. I will not repeat things because of time constraints. And Motasim, please. Okay. Rikshan, no. Rikshan is saying for sensitivity analysis, do we need to give some examples? No. Please simplify your answers to minimum. Okay, I just want you to use the word sensitivity analysis somehow to get extra mark. Do not expand because we are really struggling for time in the exam. Most teachers suggest using Pestle or Porter 5 forces for suitability. Is that okay? Yes, okay. It talks about external factors, right? Suitability focuses on external factors. But please, when you use models, you are, requiring extra time. As I said, avoid models, and now you are using two models under another model. Classic. Very nice. I'm just reading, and if I see any sensible question, I will reply. How do you know what's a sensible discount rate? I mean, I don't know, maybe 10%, 12%. It must be given, something will be given. If it's 1%, then I would question it. But if it is 10%, 8%, 12%, it's sensible, right? Please ask sensible questions. Again, this Duizu, please ask questions relevant to the slide. I will not answer questions outside the scope of the slide. Hold it for last 10 minutes. All right, okay. So now, equipped with all this lecture, we will go on a break of 10 minutes. I'll give you a 10 minutes break, and then we will do this question which talks about SFA. So it's 9:02 p.m. here. So I would see you at 9:15 p.m. sharp. I will start with the question. Okay, please. Time starts now. Right, guys, can I just get a yes if you can hear me and see the screen before I start again? Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. So now our practice question for today is SBL December 2018 called Highlight Hotels. Question number 1B. We will just read the overview, Exhibit 2 and Exhibit 4. So this question, it requires a report. Okay, so let's look at a report format. A report format is that first of all, you will give a big heading, report, on the center of your page. Okay, it has to be big, underlined, inverted. Uh, Preferably, you must always start from a fresh page. So big report. So the examiner should be clearly able to see it's a report, or if it's a briefing paper, then it must say a briefing paper. That's the main heading. And then there will be a two. In two, you will need to write the addressee, and where you will get the addressee from the question. Whoever has asked you to prepare this report, write the name or the designation of that person. From, it will be your role. You know, this word is very important, your role. Please don't write your name, Shah Rukh Khan. No. In each SBL paper, your role will be defined. Maybe you are a finance manager, maybe you are a non-executive director, maybe you are an external consultant. Whatever is your role, you will write your role here. Subject, I don't want lengthy subject. Subject should be 3 or 4 words. So you just copy keyword from the question. Okay, and then you will put the date, which is your exam date, 9th March 2021, correct? And then you will give a heading called introduction. I need to see this heading, introduction. And then it will be a small paragraph. It will say this report, and then you can just copy paste from the requirement. For example, this report evaluates da. And then you will come to the actual answer. So this is a proper report format. Very important thing. Okay, did you digest it? And we will apply this right away in this question. The second thing, in this question, it asks you to demonstrate evaluation skills. Now, what is evaluation skills? It is, there's a long definition in the syllabus, but in simple layman terms, just you need to mention both pros and cons. So whenever in any question the examiner asks you to demonstrate evaluation skill, make sure that you give a balanced analysis, a balanced assessment. And by balance, what do I mean? That you cover both pros and cons. Do not give a one-sided story. I mean, it doesn't have to be equal quantity of pros and equal quantity of cons. That's kiddish. That's not realistic in real life. But whatever information is available in the case study, make sure that you cover both, touch upon both pros and cons. If you cover nicely pros and cons, you will get very good marks in evaluation skill. You don't really need to do anything extra. You know what I call this professional marks? How much is professional marks? 20, right? Out of 100, 20 marks is professional marks. I don't call them professional marks. Okay, let me write. Professional marks is 20. but I don't call them professional marks. No, 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 sir. I call them cash marks. Why do I call them cash marks? Because they are easy to score. They are low hanging fruit. You don't need to know any topic of the syllabus to avail this. All you need to know is how to grab it. So for example, if it says demonstrate evaluation skill, just make sure that you cover both, tell me, both pros and cons, and you will get evaluation marks. Halas, cash marks. Okay, clear? Now with this, we will go to our question, which is December 2018. Let me quickly open it here. Okay, so this is December 2018. And as usual, it's the standard format. There is a background, there's a list of exhibits, and then there is a requirement, and then there is certain exhibits, right? Okay, so what's the requirement here? We will just do question number 1B. The board of highlight has identified an existing chain of hotels called Comfy Stay located in Villandia, which it is considering acquiring. So we are highlight hotels, and we have identified a hotel called Comfy Stay. Where is this? It is in a country called Villandia. The chief business analyst has passed you a fact sheet which he prepared containing data relating to the proposed acquisition. Required. Using the fact sheet referred above and any other relevant information, prepare a report. You see this? Prepare a report for the finance director. Who? Finance director, which evaluates the proposal to acquire the Comfy Stay hotel chain. Prepare a report which evaluates the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel chain, and read this. Professional marks, skills marks are available for demonstrating evaluation skills in presenting a balanced and objective appraisal of the relevant information relating to the proposed acquisition. So the examiner also gives you a hint that what he expects you to cover here. He says that you need to demonstrate evaluation skill. How? By presenting a balanced and objective appraisal of the information. So evaluation skill. How much marks? 16 plus 4, 20. You see how much is cash marks? Cash marks is 4. If you just know how to grab it, you will never fail in SBL. Cash marks 4. Okay, very good. So we know which model we will apply here. Well, I know which model, but how do you know which model should be applied here? What is the key word? All this word acquiring, acquisition is telling me proposed acquisition. All this word is shouting at me SFA, 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 right? 20 marks SFA, it's worth it. SFA will never be 10 marks or 12 marks. It's too much to do in SFA for 10 marks. 20 marks makes sense. So right, SFA, 3 things: suitability, feasibility. Let me open it. Suitability, feasibility. Oh my God, it's so dirty. I want to rub it, clean it. And oh my God, it's so dirty. Okay. And right. So suitability, we need to identify information on home country. We need to focusing more on challenges. You see challenges, and then we need to find out information about target country, which is I think Villandia, right? Here in this case, it is Villandia. And target company, can you remember the name of the target company? I think it was Comfy Stay Hotel, based in Villandia. And where are we based? I don't know. We will read the background and it will tell us. So with this, let's go to the background page. Yeah. First paragraph. Highlight Hotels is a listed hotel chain. Listed, huh? Listed. Shareholders acceptance, acceptability. I need to keep in mind listed. Located in the country of D-land. D-land has a developed economy which has experienced strong growth in the last 15 years. That's good, right? D-land also has a highly developed tourism industry. So we are a hotel chain, listed, D-land, strong economic growth, strong tourism industry. Very important facts. So listed hotel, D-land, developed economy, strong growth, highly developed industry. Very, very good. Now this paragraph, if you see, I have used a different shade. I have lighter shade. I don't want you to read right now because of time constraint. Okay, I have just focused on those paragraphs which are more relevant to this particular question. This paragraph, which is this one, is relevant but to some other questions. So I have just changed the font color so that we can focus on the thing. So I think this paragraph was very important because it tells us where we are and information about home country or target country. Can anybody tell me what information is here, home country or target country? So can I do my referencing? Home country. This information is for home country. Also, what about this one? Listed. Where can I use this? Under acceptability, right? Shareholders acceptance. Do you understand the concept of referencing now? How did I do the referencing? Listed hotel is acceptability, and this paragraph gives me information about home country. Do I have any questions? Very good, guys. I like your participation. Keep it up. I will now try to ask many questions. I will speak less and I want you to participate more. Okay. Now, let's read this paragraph. Highlight was founded about 40 years ago, beginning with 2 hotels in the capital city of D-land. Since then, it has grown significantly, operating 510 hotels. By the end of this, it is now the largest hotel chain in terms of number of hotels. So it is the largest chain in D-land, 510 hotels. Since it was founded, Highlight's growth has been achieved organically within D-land. with investment being gradually made in new highlight brand hotels every year throughout D-land. So it's D-land, D-land, D-land. It's only D-land. I don't think they have worked outside D-land. It feels like it. Although it is currently the leading hotel brand, Highlight faces fierce competition from several home-based and international hotel chains. Interesting. So we operate 510 hotels. We are the largest hotel chain, and we've just grown organically within D-land. Organically means no acquisition. We are just growing on our own without acquiring. So we don't have any experience of acquisition. We don't have any experience of running business outside D-land. If we are a leading brand in D-land, we face fierce competition from several. Now, we face fierce competition. This fierce competition is good or bad? It's bad. Internal or external? External. Can I say home country? Can I put this is one of the challenges which I might be facing? And this one tells me about my HR or experience. Got it? So you read, you highlight, you stop, and then you think, where can I use this highlighted information? Why the hell I have highlighted? If I feel it's important, then let's use it somewhere. So then I thought fierce competition. Okay, I can use this information under home country because I need to talk about challenges there. And then it says next paragraph. In the last 10 years, Highlight has made significant investments in web-based technology. Technology, where can it go? Internal, external, technologies? I don't remember. Technology. Can anybody tell me technology where I can use it? Yeah? Wow. Wow. See? Very simple. Technology. It's web-based, made significant investment in web-based technology. We have a website. Highlight operates with low number of staff, highly trained. Class. So I wanted this for technology. This paragraph, I will say technology. We have. Okay. Now this is very important. You are a senior business analyst working within the business analysis department of Highlight. What's your role? This is your role. Every question you will write, wherever there's a from, you will say senior business analyst, not Shah Rukh Khan. Okay. So in this, you see, in this introduction, I was able to find some point on acceptability, some point on home country, some of my own expertise, human resource, technology. Do I have any questions before I move to the next exhibit? Does it look simple? Does it look simple now? If you know what to look for, keep it simple. Yes, keep it very simple and basic. No, I don't like SRK. He is my competitor. Yes, Anu, I'm able to see your questions. Right. Now, let's go to the exhibit 2, which is D-land hotel industry. Exhibit 2 was also given, and it tells you about D-land hotel industry. So D-land is what? Home country, right? So I expect to see some information about home country in this, mostly external information because it's an industry report. But I'm more interested in the negatives, the issues, the challenges. So I'll just skip all these things, and you see this heading challenges, and here there's one challenge which I want to focus: changing competitive dynamics. It got my attention. So what is happening in the industry? Competitive landscape is changing. The nature of competition is changing. New business models are emerging. Okay. Evident trend is increasing consolidation, especially among hotels. Enough. Of this I can use in home country challenges. Now we come at some fact sheet which has been provided to you as exhibit C. So far, what did you find? We just talked about home country information, home country, technology, human resource, internal factors, acceptability. Now, nothing so far on Villandia or the target country. So now this is the fact sheet. It talks about comfy stay hotel chain. This is our target company, right? So let's look at the key business industry data. This is given to you. Comfy Stay is a family run business which has lacked investment in 10 years. All 20 hotels in the chain have been in operation over 18 years and are located in main coastal resorts of Villandia. These are in premium locations but with outdated facilities. These are mid-range hotels, some with additional leisure pools. They are not classified as budget hotels. Whereas, if you read somewhere, we are budget hotels. Highlight Hotel is a budget hotel, which means we keep our prices low. But this Comfy Stay is not a budget hotel, it's a mid-range hotel. Now, Villandia is 5,000 miles from D-Land. It has a developing economy, but low wage rates, and there is some evidence of poor management practices in the country, some evidence of use of underage labor, minors in the hotel industry has been found. So this information is about Villandia. Villandia has a thriving tourism industry. Interesting. So first thing, this home Comfy Stay hotel, these three bullets, can anybody tell me, is this home country, target country, or target company information? What do you think? Comfy Stay, these three bullets, target country or target company? Yes, excellent guys, impressed. I am impressed. So it's target company. And these two bullets talks about Villandia, which is target country. Okay, let me highlight some key. It's a family run business, 20 hotels, outdated facilities. It is not a budget hotel. Villandia is a developing economy, low wage rate, underage labor, thriving tourism industry. Okay. So I know I can use this. If I've highlighted, where can I use this? Here, I've just mentioned where I can use this information and this information. Done with referencing. So now I found home country information in the earlier exhibits. I found target country information. I found, what do you think? Target country information. Now, What else is there? Now this is a key investment data based on a six-year investment plan. So it looks like a financial projection. So it says me year 0, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Yeah, it's definitely a financial projection. So I'll just increase the font size. Now, whenever you see a financial projection, you need to think about 5 things. Remember, checklist. I gave you this checklist. Remember, guys, this checklist, 5 things. So first of all, I need you to check whether the projection should be based on whether this projection is discounted cash flow or not. I give you 30 seconds. Is this based on discounted cash flows? I want a yes or a no. Very nice, guys. And if it is discounted, what's the discount rate? Here, I see that there's a cash flow, and then there's a discount factor of 12%, which sounds okay to me. And then there's a present value has been calculated, and accordingly a net present value has been calculated. Very good. So the first item of the checklist is done, that this is based on discounted cash flow. Okay. Second item, quickly calculate the payback using simple cash flow. So which row should we focus on? Should we focus on the before discount cash flow, or should we focus on after discount cash flow? Please, when I say simple, so you keep it simple. You will not focus on this. You will calculate payback this based on simple cash flow, which is before discounting. Okay. So please, can you quickly calculate the payback? It's 17.5 and 24. So it's 17.5 plus 24. That's 2 years, and then again 27.1, that's 51, and then again 27.1, it's 78, 4 years. It must be like 4 years, 4.5 years, slightly under 4 years, 6 months. So can anybody let me know exactly what's the payback? 3 years? No, Shidera, no way 3 years. How's that possible? Why am I getting 4 years? What's happening, guys? Let me recheck. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm getting old. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 3 year, and yeah, 3 year and a few months. You're right. 3.5 years. So yes, 3 years, 9 months, 3 years, 7 months, 3 years, 7, 3 years, 4 years. Can I say the payback is under 4 years? Is that diplomatically correct? I would say to the bird, the payback is under 4 years. Khalas. Forget about 3.7, 3.6, 3.5, under 4 years. Simple. Remember, the board guys are 5-year-olds. Under 4 years is more than enough. Okay, so we did this, we did this. What's the third thing? Review assumptions for any apparent stupidity. I'm sure you are good at identifying stupidity. So please, can you identify any stupidity? I gave you 1 minute. I wanted to see at least 3 things, 3 questions, and think like a CFO. think that some idiot ACCA student has given you these projections and you are the CFO. Identify some mistakes in the assumptions. Start from revenues. So did you find anything wrong with revenues? I can immediately see something crazy with revenues. It doesn't look good to me. What's wrong with revenues? Yes, it's constant for many years. Why there is no change? Yes, yes, growth pattern. What kind of growth? Very good CFOs. Good job. Wouldn't you ask this question to that idiot ACCA student? From what is the basis of 48,000? How come? How did you arrive at 48 million? Why it's not 45 or 55? Why 48 180? And more importantly, how can the revenue of year one and year two be exactly same? And then from more, from 48 it went up to 53. Wow. Why? How? And then more importantly, and then it stays constant for the next 4 years. Are you crazy? You don't deserve to pass ACCA, right? Will you pass as a CFO? Will you pass this kind of a person who makes this kind of a projection? I would reach. To write so many things. You will just tell the examiner that the revenue seems to be constant for the first 2 years, and then again it's constant for year 3 to year 6. This needs to be investigated. That's it. We are under time constraint, right? And then initial investment 80 million, refurbishment, okay, and then 5, okay. And then I don't know what's this, but it's whatever it is, it's constant. I don't know why it's constant. Training cost 3 million and then 1.5. Okay, I understand in the initial years training cost will be high and then it's low, but then operating cost, see, it's a big ticket item. So one comment I will make on revenue, second comment I will make on operating cost. And how come the operating costs are fixed for year 1 and 2 and then again fixed for year 3, 4, 5, 6? What about inflation? What about, being realistic? That's it. Okay, done. So I've got 2 comments on assumptions. Very nice, guys. You are enjoying the role of a CFO? Yeah. $10,000 is your salary per month. Enjoy, spend it, drink it. And then what about any tax implication? So do you see any tax after tax calculations? It says present value. I don't see any tax. Do you see any tax implications? Yes, no, no, no. You will get 1 mark straight away if you identify this. Villandia is another country. Maybe there is tax, maybe there is no tax. I don't know, but at least as a CFO, you have to ask the right questions to make sure everything is covered. You will say, I can't see any tax implications. This needs to be further investigated. Khalas, that's it. And then the last thing is you need to talk about sensitivity analysis. Just you add, kind of one line saying that we need to cover sensitivity analysis. So you see in the financial projections, if you apply the 5-point checklist, immediately you will identify 3-4 points or comments which you can use in your answer, correct? So memorize that checklist. Okay, right. What else? So there's some additional information. Oh my God, what is this talking about? It is expected that some of D-Land's hotel managers would need to relocate to Finlandia. Why? For approximately 3 to 12 months on a temporary basis. Why? To assist in training and development of staff in the first year. Okay, very sensible. So they are acquiring a hotel and now they will send their good managers to Finlandia to train the staff in Finlandia. That's good. That's human resource, right? Human resource, staff, managers, training, staff development is human resource. Very good. What else? Finance for this investment would be available through a combination of equity and debt finance. Very nice. What's the word? Finance. This is financial resources. So now I have done my referencing. You see, if you so now you will see the power of referencing, how it will save your time. So simply highlighting is not enough. Once you highlight, you need to make sure that you do this referencing. This is the referencing. Now we will come to the drafting bit. Before I move to the drafting, any questions? Calculate gearing ratios. For gearing, you need the balance sheet of highlight, right? It's not given to us. We should ask for gearing working with tax. No, please keep it simple. As a CFO, you would know the gearing of my company, right? Can we talk about resistance from staff? Yes, you can, but please, you don't have time for expanding your answer. I just want 2-line or 3-line paragraph, 2-liners paragraph. So you can't go on blabbing a lot and a lot. How to decide discount factor? Again, Clarice, I repeated this thing. You don't need to decide. You just need to see whether it sounds reasonable. I think 12% is reasonable. If you want to poke your nose, you can say what is the basis of 12% discount rate. That's it. But it sounds okay to me. Anything between 8 to 12% sounds reasonable. Again, Herman, no pest analysis, Baba. You can't use model under model. Keep it simple. Please, please brainwash yourself. Brainwash yourself. Stay away from models into models. Don't use pastel in the SFA, please. Okay, now during exam, how we identify relevant paragraphs. This is where your practice will come in. You will need, okay, I will repeat this question. Mohammed Rikshan is asking, during exam, how we identify relevant paragraphs. This is the main game here. I'm glad you understood the trap. This will only come from practice. You will need to, when you know the list of requirements, then you know what you are supposed to look for. For example, I know that I need to do SFA. So I should know that I should look for what? I should look for home country information. I should look for target country information. I would look for target company, human resource. You should be smart enough. And when you read this, you will, by default, you will start understanding what is relevant, what is non-relevant, but it will come from practice. Okay. There is no theoretical way, it will just come from practice. If you do 2 questions or 3 questions on SFA, you will know how to pick it up. So as I said, practice more. I gave you a list of practice questions. Okay. Again, Heyman, don't ask questions which are outside the slide right now. So mocks we will discuss in the last 10 minutes. Right. Now let's go for drafting. So let me read the question once more before I actually start my drafting. This is the question. Okay, using the fact sheet referred to above and any other relevant information, prepare a report for the finance director which evaluates the proposal to acquire the Comfy Stay hotel chain. A report which evaluates, and keep this in mind, evaluation skill. Okay. So it's a report. So I would first say, I will always start my answer from a fresh page, always. So I would say question number, which question is this? Question 1B, right? It says a report. So we need to give a very nice report format, which the board of directors will see and they should fall in love with you. Presentation really matters. I would say very nicely. So for CBE students, you will write report, do a center alignment, bold it, increase the font size, underline it. Okay, it's very easy, just like a Word document. Center align, bold, increase the font, underline. Manual students would do like this, write report. Then you will write to, from, subject and date. Neat and clean. Now 2, what do you think should be in 2? From where will I get it? I will just read the requirements. Where is that requirement, man? Yeah. Prepare a report for the finance director. So very simple. I would write from, what is my role? I mentioned senior business analyst. Subject. Now I want you to tell me the subject. I will show you the requirements. The subject has to be very short and it should immediately tell the board what this report is about. Please suggest to me a suitable subject for our report. Let's see your skills. Proposed acquisition of Comfy Stay hotel chain, evaluation of acquisition. Oh my God. Oh my God. Acquisition of Comfy Stay hotel. I like that. Yes. Okay. I'll take that. Shorter the better. Huh? Okay. Good job. I think majority of you don't write evaluation of proposal of acquisition of, forget about evaluation. Because I will write all these detail under the heading of introduction. I will just say, I can say How about this? No? Don't you think the board would know what we are talking about? Or if you are not happy with this, okay, no worries. No worries. Okay. Is that okay? Happy? Colors, take it. It's fine. Date, you will put the date. I think it's 9th March 2021. Huh? 1, it's not 0. 2021. Okay, and now I need to draw a nice line. I'm using a scale like this. And now I'll give the heading introduction. And then I will say this report. What does it do? I will just copy from here. I will just copy from here. Evaluates the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel chain. This report evaluates the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel chain. That's it. Can you see? It's a very simple, beautiful, attractive format. And now my next heading would be, I will leave a line and I would say suitability. Wow, wow, zabardast. Very nice. Suitability. Now what you can do is, I want several, either you can give a subheading called home country. No, I don't like home country. Or you can, what's the D land? And then you write 1 or 2 small paragraph on D land. And then you will go down and then you will write Villandia. And then 1, 2, 3 lines about Villandia. And then you will write Comfy Stay Hotel. And then 1, 2 paragraph. Where will you get these small paragraphs from? Can anybody tell me? Where will you get these small paragraphs from? Something about D-Land, focusing more on challenges, some information about Villandia, some information about Comfy Stay. Where can I get this from? From the case study. Yes, we did our referencing, right? Very good. So now it's very simple. For example, for D-Land, home country, where can I get the information of home country? I must have done my referencing. Here, this is one. D-Land has developed economy. The board already knows that. So this one, the board, you think the board already knows this? The finance director knows, right, that D-Land has a developed economy, has a strong growth. So why do we need to tell the finance director all this? So I will ignore it. What else? Home country here. Fierce competition. Okay. What else? Home country, home country, home country. Here, competition landscape is changing here. The nature of competition. Sorry guys, something is wrong. Was just a minute, guys. This okay, there's something wrong. Are you able to see the screen and hear me clearly now? I'm moving the screen a bit. Please, can I get a yes? Okay, thank God. Okay, all right, thank you so much. So all this I will, so it talks about competition. The landscape is changing, the nature is changing. Okay, I'll just copy paste these fancy words. So how do I draft it? I would say, clear up this now, and I would say DLAN. I would start with one positive point. Although the tourism industry is thriving, thriving in the land, we are facing fierce competition. I swear I copy pasted this from somewhere. I saw this word fierce competition here, yeah. From several home-based and international hotel chains. From several domestic and international hotel chain. I'm just copy pasting it. Now, can somebody tell me why did I use the word we? Why didn't I use the word highlight is facing? Why did I said we are facing? Can anybody tell me? Very nice. I said I used the word we are facing instead of using highlight is facing, because remember the report is from senior business analyst to my own finance director. Since we are both working in the same company, it makes sense to say we rather than highlight hotel. We are not an outsider. So these little things, they matter. This is where the professional marks or the cash marks is. Okay, I cannot teach you this. I can just show you once, but how you apply it, it's up to you. It's all your own IQ and smartness. Okay, and then one other paragraph I can say, I can just copy paste from here. The competition landscape is changing. The competition landscape is changing, leading to increasing consolidation among hotels. Um, and then maybe one more paragraph. The nature of competition is also, so just little bit of suitability DLAND. Now, where can I get information about Villandia? I need 2 or 3 paragraphs, but where can I get Villandia? I remember some fact sheet here, target country. So I would just reproduce this information. I would say Villandia has a developing economy, but low wage rates, and there are some evidence of child labor. However, it's got a thriving tourism industry. Small 2-3 paragraphs, 2-liner each. I repeat, small 2-3 paragraphs, 2-liner each. The smaller the paragraph, go for quantity. Give maximum number of small paragraphs. It really makes the examiner happy, because for him, one paragraph is 1 point. So if you give many small paragraphs, he will think you have given many small points. It will help you score marks. And then target company, where will you get the information? Just reproduce this, 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 this. Done. Now important thing. What do we need to do? What do we need to do for evaluation skill? Did anybody focus on this? So in order to gain this cash mark, what do we need to do? We need to make sure that we just don't focus on pros or cons. That is why I was, focusing on pros and cons, pros and cons. Some good points, some bad points. So you see, this one, I said, although the tourism industry is thriving, that's a good thing. But we are facing competition. That's a bad thing. It's a balanced assessment. Good thing, bad thing, pros and cons. Again in Villandia, there's a good thing. The economy is developing, thriving, but there are child labor. Again in Comfy, it's a good Comfy Stay hotel. Was there a good thing in Comfy Stay? Comfy Stay, I don't remember. There's a good thing. Everything was bad. For example, it lacked investment. It's out of date. So it's not mandatory that you do pros and cons under each heading. It all depends on the availability of information. But overall, if you have covered both aspects overall, you will get marks. Okay, so do not get stuck if you don't see any pros or don't see any cons in any particular subheading. Doesn't matter. Overall, the report should be balanced. Clear? So suitability is very simple. You just reproduce information on home country, target country, target company, making sure you cover both pros and cons. Do I have any questions before I move to feasibility? Mohammed Shifaz is asking, do we need to explain why a certain point is a pro or con? No, it will actually increase your answer and your time management will just, get out of control. Mohammed Rikshan, you are asking the wrong questions. You are asking we need to study detailed information from textbook. Right in the start, I said no textbook. So please, I have zero tolerance for these kind of repetitive questions. You need to follow instructions, no textbook. Only copy text and paste is enough for 1 mark? Yes, sometimes it's enough because you are just telling some information to the board, right? You're giving an analysis of the country. So whatever, how do you analyze a country? It will be based on information. So you're just producing those things. That's it. As long as you are copy pasting under the right heading in the right context, you will get marks. Forget about copy pasting. Copy pasting a kid can also do, right? Where do you paste it is important. So if you paste the information under the right heading in the right flow covering pros and cons, you will get marks. Why not? Do we need to apply skills for each point? No. No skills not required for each point. Overall, it should be pros and cons balanced. Mohammed Shifas, don't ask again an irrelevant question. What is the difference between evaluation and analysis? I will explain analysis skills once the slide comes. Okay, I cannot stop now and explain something different. Rachel, hold your questions for the last. Right now, please ask questions relevant to the slide. Okay, right now our next thing is feasibility. Okay, again our heading would be So first thing is human resource. Do we have experience of acquisition? Do we have experience of acquisition? No. Very good. Do we have experience of running any business outside D-land? No. We have always been in D-land. We are the market leader in D-land. We have never worked any business outside. We have never acquired. We have just grown organically. But do we know how to run hotel business? We are the market leaders, yes. So we know the core business. We are the market leaders, but we have not done any acquisition or we have not worked outside the country, but we've got the basic hotel relevant experience. Yes, budget industry, very good. So I would start with the positive. Although we have significant experience in hotel business in D-land, we have no experience of acquisition in the past, nor running any hotel business outside D-land. That's it, guys. That's it. Now, how more simple can this get? So simple that the board of directors, they will read this like a 5-year-old kid. They will read, although we have significant experience in hotel business in D-land, we have no experience of acquisition in the past, nor running any hotel business outside D-land. Simple, right? This is exactly what you need to do in the exam. It's up to you. You can make it as simple as you want, or you can complicate your own life and fail the exam. Okay, now what's the next thing? Financial resources. Do we have the funds to acquire Comfy Stay Hotel? Yes or no? Do we have the funds? How do we acquire these guys? No. Someone says no. Someone says no. Who's this? Janice says no. It's interesting. Oh, another one says no. Sonia says no. Joshua says no. Why do you say no? Yes, we have funds. And how do we know we have funds? How do we know? Let's go to the fact sheet. Let's go there, Baba. Wait. Everything from the case study. You remember this fact sheet. Okay, you go down. You see this. We did our referencing. How can you forget? So financial resource, what does this? Just reproduce this sentence. We will say finance for this investment would be available through a combination of equity and debt finance. Just copy paste this, Baba. That's it. Again, you can keep it as simple as you want, or you can make it life complicated. So you will write another line. We will finance the acquisition of Comfy Hotel through what? A combination of equity and debt finance. Equity and debt finance. What else? Technology and brand. Do we have any technology which we can use? I remember we had a website and also brand. Do we have any brand? Of course, we are the leading brand in India. So similarly, we can use our website / technology and our strong brand once we acquire Comfy Stay Hotel. I just want you to use this word technology and brand somehow, somewhere under feasibility. And you see how smartly I use this in very simple. Similarly, we can use our website and our strong brand once we acquire Comfy Stay Hotel. Very simple. So done with feasibility, 3 paragraphs. First about human resource, second about financial resource, third about IT / brand. Do I have any questions? Up to you, Wajiha. Wajiha is asking, can we write subheadings? Up to you. As long as your answers are in proper paragraph form, it doesn't matter whether you give headings or not. Yes, Sandra, we will cover that later. Okay, we are now short of time. Now the third one is acceptability. So acceptability, I'll just do verbally now. I just wanted to demonstrate how the drafting will be done. I think I've shown you the presentation, the format, the presentation, how you copy paste, what you copy paste, and where you copy paste is actually important. Okay. But again, did we score evaluation skills under feasibility? Were you mindful of pros and cons? Did we cover both pros and cons in feasibility? Yes, yes, I covered, or I gave the strengths and I also gave the weaknesses. So the third one is acceptability. Again, you will create a new page. I will create a new page. I will give the broad heading acceptability. Oh, why am I using a red pen? Acceptability. Now, the first thing is about shareholders. Will the shareholders accept the proposed acquisition? So I remember somewhere in the case, it was mentioned that we are a listed company. In fact, in the first paragraph, yeah, we are a listed hotel chain. So what our shareholders will be interested in? We will say, as we are a listed company, our shareholders would need to approve the proposed strategy. In my view, it will get approved. Why? Why do you think the shareholders will approve this? Can anybody tell me? Why did I say in my view it will get approved? Any logic? Give me logic. Why do you think the positive NPV? Very smart boys and girls. Yes, very good. And I would say in my view it will get approved as there is a positive NPV. Full stop? No. Be a bit more specific. As there's a positive NPV of dollar. Now, where can I get the amount from? Where can I get the amount from? Because the board will ask, if you say there's a positive NPV, someone will ask, how much is the NPV? So better we write the figures in our answer. So what is the NPV here? 10,565,715. I don't want to give the whole number. I will just $10.56 million. Now nobody can challenge it. I said, in my view, it will get approved as there is a positive NPV of $10.56 million. Khalas, done with this paragraph. The next paragraph would be, as Vilandia is another country, we will need to consider any cultural differences. Done. 2 paragraphs done. Now what's the last one? It will be the financial analysis, right? So now I want you to write 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs. And where can we do this from? We will say the project the first point, you can say the project has a positive NPV of 10 million with a payback of under 4 years. Secondly, you will say that certain assumptions needs to be investigated. For example, the revenue seems to be constant, the operating cost needs to be are constant. This needs further investigation. Number 3, you will say tax, right? Tax implications have not been considered. This needs further investigation. Number 4, you will say a sensitivity analysis should be done. That's it. So 3, 4 points on the financial projections. Do I then need to give a conclusion in the end? Please tell me. How many of you would give a conclusion in the end after all this thing? No, very good, very smart. Why you will not give conclusion, eh? It's a report, boys and girls. Because Sir Hassan said no conclusion unless specifically asked by the exam. Okay, you see already our answer is very lengthy, it's time consuming. In SBL, time management is the most biggest problem. And why time management is problem? Because students, they like to complicate things. They go into lengthy stories and this. They want to use pastel in SFA. Oh my God! No, please. You will mess up your time. Keep it simple. Don't think that you are writing to the examiner. Think that you are writing to the board, which is a 5-year-old boys. Simple, to the point. Please adopt this mentality. You are the CFO and the board are idiots. Very good. Sir, Nino is asking, sir, if I have more points in the scenario, do I have to write every point? Okay, Nino, you are the CFO. You tell me. Very good question. She says, or he says, I'm sorry, I don't know the gender. Nino says that if I have more points, do I need to write every point then? Okay, male, yeah. No. The number of points depends on the marks. Okay, and I will teach you this tomorrow. How many number of points we need to write. So if you already have sufficient number of points according to the marks, then you leave the extra points. Then no need to put everything there because time management will be an issue. Sir, should we read the entire case study before attempting any requirement? Prithvi, I will cover this during the course of the webinar, but a short answer is yes. we will read the entire case study. Sir, while referencing, we have to keep in mind all requirements. I find it difficult to remember. Very good point, Harsha. It's not humanly possible to keep all requirements in mind. Even I tend to forget. That is why I made the list of requirements and keep it separate, so that every time I read 2-3 paragraphs, I will stop. I will go through the list of requirements and see where I can fit it. Okay. And there's one more technique which I will teach you day after tomorrow. Sir, should we start every question subpart from a fresh page? Yes, why not? Subpart means 1A, 1B, right? So 1A, fresh page, 1B, fresh page. Okay, no, why not? Sir, what is the maximum reading time for the case? Maximum reading time is 1 hour. I will tell this in next couple of days. Sir, every relevant point will earn marks? Of course, yes. Yes, Faizan, enough. Sandra, you will combine. I will explain this later. If sometimes, okay, I will explain now. Sometimes a question says write a report, okay, and then after that it says 1A and 1B, which means both 1A and 1B should be part of the same report. So in that case, you will cover both 1A and 1B in the same report. You will combine and the answer under one report. Okay, a lot of students are asking, is I'm doing self-study, is 10 topics enough, 15 topics enough, 10 topics enough, this enough, that enough? Please, you need to understand only 3 weeks is left. So don't ask me these questions like, is this enough or is this enough? Nothing is enough. Happy? So if you have 20 days, this is all you can do, is focus on selected topics. If you want to do enough, then you should have started like 3 months back. That's one. So forget about enough or not enough. Adopt a smart approach. My game plan is for the next 3 weeks. Okay. And it's enough. Many students have passed just by watching the webinars and attending the mocks. Okay. So last attempt, it was December. I think she is a global place winner, 86 marks in SBL through webinar. There were five place winners, one from Kuwait, one from UK, one from, I don't even remember the countries. Out of 5, 4 just did the webinar. They were self-studying students. They just did the webinar and they scored country highest marks. Isn't that an inspirational thing? Okay, so yes, you can pass just through webinar, but don't complicate. Then you strictly follow the webinar, delete all your previous learning. You hear so many rumors here and there. Forget about it. Stay focused. 20 days, bang. Okay, my target, my objective is to make sure you guys get 50. For me, 50 is equal to 100. All right, so with that, we will need to wrap up tonight's session, and I hope you enjoyed today. We did, you might not realize, but we did a very important topic, which is SFA and financial projection. Every attempt you will see this. All right, tomorrow we will start with another new technique, another topics, and another questions. With that, you have a good night and see you guys tomorrow.